Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing the second and final part of my ranking every season in Splatoon 3 series. If you haven't seen the first part yet, be sure to go check that out, as I already ranked 4 of the 7 post-launch seasons there. The link is in the description. Before we continue on with the final 3, some quick reminders. Every ranking and thought that I share in this video is just my opinion. I'm ranking these seasons based on my personal enjoyment. Also, I won't be mentioning every single new feature that each season added, I'm just talking about the stuff that I personally think is relevant to my thoughts. With all that being said, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and let's finish this. Next on the list at number 3, we have the 2024 Sizzle season, which was the most recent season. This season was pretty weird actually when I look back on it. For the first time in Splatoon's history, Nintendo released multiple kits for a new weapon simultaneously. Both the Decavitator and Wellstring got their vanilla and alternate kits dropped instantly, which was very bizarre. I'm pretty sure Nintendo just did this because they wanted every weapon in the game to have 2 kits by the end of this season, but it's still strange to think about. As for the Decavitator and Wellstring themselves, I was pleased. Wellstring definitely exceeded my expectations, proving it can be used at higher level play and having some insane attributes tied to it, such as its insane object damage. Decavitator, while slightly falling short of my expectations, is still a really fun weapon. It's insanely tough to use, and it's very map dependent, but with enough practice, this thing can be a menace. Besides the heavy edit Splatling, these are the 2 best launches of new main weapons that Splatoon 3 has had. Most of the other new main weapons that were added to the game had to receive a variety of buffs to be considered competitively viable. With the Wellstring and Decavitator, that's not the case. In terms of alternate kits for weapons that already existed in the game, we only received 6 this time. But again, the Wellstring and Decavitator got their alternate kits instantly, so it's technically 8. Plus, unless they started adding third kits, they couldn't have added more, since these were the last remaining weapons that didn't have a second kit. So I can't hold that against them. This season notoriously had some of the best designed kits in the game, as majority of them were competitively viable. We got the custom Range Blaster, Bamboozler 14 MK2, Heavy Edit Splatling Nouveau, all insanely powerful kits. We also got the custom Dowser Dualies FF, which might be the best kit we've gotten for a dually in this game, besides the vanilla Splat Dualies of course. Once again, we only received 1 new stage this season, compared to the usual 2. Lemuria Hub is interesting. I know a lot of people despise this map, I get it. I personally don't hate it. I do like Splatoon maps with gimmicks, but on certain modes, these moving platforms just kinda like break the objective, especially on Rainmaker. I do enjoy the map on Splat Zones, but I gotta say, if this is truly the final stage that we receive for Splatoon 3, that's pretty disappointing. However, Nintendo did do something pretty amazing in this season's balance patch. They overhauled a lot of existing stages in the game and really improved them. And unlike the 2023 Fresh season, these changes were actually impactful. Barnacle and Dime, Umami Ruins, Hammerhead Bridge, and Brinewater Springs all got massive changes, along with quite a few other stages receiving some smaller quality of life improvements. I wish Nintendo made these changes a bit sooner, but hey, I'll take it. For the catalog, it was nothing impressive. We just got 17 new gear items, many of which are just recolors of already existing gear pieces. The catalog also just recycles a lot of stuff from the previous Sizzle season past level 50. I do think this season had some of the best emotes though, so that's a positive. Stance Up is a top 2 emote in the game for me. For this season, we got Big Run, which obviously kinda beats any of the previous Big Runs. Being able to play on all of the previous Big Run stages felt so good, and that really made it easier to play for long periods of time. My friends and I got burned out way less frequently since we just had more stage variety. The Triumvirate boss fight is incredible, it truly is a challenge, and the game actually doesn't lag as much as I would have expected it to. Oh, and I can't not talk about the Grizzco Roller. This weapon is a joy to mess around with. The season did add 2 new battle songs by the band Sashimori, and well, I like Sea Source at least. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know that Amalgamania is my least favorite battle song in Splatoon's history. It is actually so distracting. All in all though, despite the single stage and lackluster catalog, I thought the season was pretty good. Coming in at number 2, we have the 2023 Drizzle season. Some of you might be surprised to see this here, since you may recall that I posted a video basically trash talking this season's trailer when it was revealed. Honestly, I still stand by that video because I thought the trailer was bad, but there ended up being quite a bit of content that wasn't mentioned that really spiced up the season for me. For the first time, and actually the only time ever, we received 2 brand new stages, instead of 1 brand new stage and 1 returning stage from a previous game. When this season launched, I was in love with both Crab Lake Capital and Ship-Shape Cargo. I thought these maps were really refreshing at the time, since it was just different from the typical Tetris block maps that we had consistently gotten up to this point. Since this season's conclusion, my opinion of these 2 stages has slightly dipped, but I'm not factoring that into the ranking. I'm solely basing it off of my enjoyment of the stages during the season. But yeah, at the time, both Crab Leg and Ship-Shape were probably my 2 favorite maps in the whole game. Moving on to the weapons, for this season we got the Dreadringer and Heavy Edit Splatling. I just want to say that while everyone else made fun of the Dreadringer when it came out, I was a day 1 believer. I used this weapon quite a bit for fun and got pretty decent with it. But then later on we got its second kit and then I stopped caring about it. But I digress. We also got the Heavy Edit Splatling, which I would argue was the best new main weapon added into the game before receiving any buffs, without counting the Splatana Stamper of course. The Heavy Edit Splatling was powerful, and it got a pretty incredible kit to top it off as well. And I just wanted to say, I really liked the design of both of these new main weapons, both aesthetically and functionally. They're some of my favorite looking non-dually weapons period, and I think the way that these weapons behave is pretty unique, mainly the Dreadringer. Sure, the Heavy Edit is pretty similar to the Heavy Splatling, which is kind of the whole point, but it's still different enough to justify its existence. For new kits, nothing here was particularly spectacular. I'd say the only ones worth even mentioning were the Gold Dynamo Roller, Sloshing Machine Neo, and Sorella Brella. For the catalog, this was the first season to use recycled gear past level 50, which was quite a bummer. However, after thinking about it later in the season, and also seeing that pretty much every season following this one also did the same thing, I became more okay with the idea. It was a way for players who didn't get to experience the previous year's Drizzle season catalog to still be able to obtain some of that gear that they missed. I still think they could have gone about this in a better way, such as just including any missed gear from previous catalogs in the shops. But hey, what's done is done. We did get a respectable amount of brand new gear items in this catalog, so that was a plus at least. For Salmon Run, we did get a returning stage, which was Salmonid Smoke Yard. This was my favorite Salmon Run map in Splatoon 2, so to see it return in this game was definitely a huge positive of the season for me. Big Run took place on Umami Ruins this time, and while I did think that map was great, I personally think it got overshadowed by the debut of the Grizzco Dualies. But Chase, the Grizzco Dualies are one of the most lackluster Grizzco weapons. I don't give a fuck. It's a fun weapon, getting to roll around so much and just destroy all the lesser salmonids with virtually no effort is so addicting. For challenges, there were really only 2 that I enjoyed, being Swim It to Win It and the modded Rainmaker Testfire, both of which put a really unique spin on the gameplay that we're used to. So that's it for all of the big content that this season added, but it actually did a lot of smaller things that often get overlooked. Firstly, it was the season that added the Adjust Gear feature, which lets you edit the position or style of certain gear pieces. Sure, it was a little underwhelming at the start since the gear you could do it with was pretty limited, but I have to respect it for at least introducing the idea. They also added 2 new songs from the band H2O, which is probably my favorite Splatoon band of all time. Both Rip Stop and Go and Aquasonic are incredible, and I still love when these songs play during my battles to this day. Something that Nintendo themselves didn't even seem to care about was that they added 80 new splash tag banners, over 400 new titles, and over 318 new locker customization items. I know some people might not really care about this stuff, but that's a lot of content. It's a big part of why I enjoyed this season so much, as I'm someone who really does like to collect all the banners and titles. Overall, the 2023 Drizzle season was surprisingly enjoyable. The fact that we got 2 brand new stages, 2 awesome new main weapons, a crap ton of new customization options, my favorite Salmon Run stage returning, and a new Grizzco weapon from my favorite class. Yeah, it's no secret why I enjoyed this season so much. But it's not quite my favorite. So, here we are. We finally reached our destination. we've covered 6 of the post-launch seasons so far, which only leaves us with one more. My all-time favorite season from Splatoon 3 is the 2023 Sizzle season. In terms of adding content that I personally got enjoyment from, this season easily takes the cake. Let's start with the obvious, the weapon kits. At the time this season was released, I had 2 main weapons, the Tetradualies and the Splatana Wiper. So how happy do you think I was that both of my main weapons received their second kits in one season? Both the Light Tetradualies and Splatana Wiper Deco have probably added over 1,000 hours to my playtime for this game alone. They were that fun. But Chase, the vanilla kits for these weapons are better. Yeah, I didn't care. It was just so refreshing to have new playstyle options that were decent. And also, Tetradualies with Zipcaster was one of the best things they could have added into this game. I'm so glad they did that. Yeah, the fact that it got Sprinkler was a bummer, but I was okay with it. We did get 2 new main weapons this season, albeit pretty lackluster ones. Both the Paintbrush and S-Blast 92 were quite underwhelming, and their kits certainly weren't helping their case. The main weapons were just extremely undertuned, which was a common trend among the new main weapons for this game. We even got some other cool new weapon kits too, such as the Tenta Sorella, custom Dually Squelchers, and Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. For the stages, we got 1 new map, being Barnacle and Dime, and 1 returning map, being Humpback Pump Track. Humpback Pump Track was one of my favorites from Splatoon 2, so I was pretty excited to see it make a return here. Barnacle and Dime was refreshing because it was the first new map we got that didn't take the Tetris block design approach. The layout was still on the basic side, but hey, it was heaps better than some of the other maps that we were getting. The catalog this season was pretty good too. We got a good amount of cool new gear items, and more importantly, the emotes this season slapped. If you guys saw my Splatoon 3 emote tier list video, I said that the 2023 Sizzle season was the best season emote-wise. I ranked 4 of the 6 emotes in at least S tier. For Salmon Run, we got a brand new stage, which was Jammin' Salmon Junction. I really like this stage, both theme and gameplay-wise. It's definitely one of the better salmon maps in the game. Big Run was on Undertow Spillway this time around, which was interesting. It was certainly one of the weaker Big Run maps in my opinion, but hey, I'm not gonna let that sole fact drag down the season for me. The last notable thing that this season introduced was challenges. As the first season to feature challenges, there were definitely some hiccups, mainly regarding the time windows for the challenges, and it took a few seasons for them to fix this. But the fact that they brought in this new idea to feature wacky twists on the gameplay that we already know and love is something that I really appreciated. In terms of specific challenges that I enjoyed, this season had a lot. Too Many Trizukas managed to be extremely fun and frustrating. Foggy Notion was an incredible idea, although I wish it was on something other than Turf War. Duel of Dynamic Duos might be one of my favorite challenges period, and Extreme Jump Battle gave my friends and I hours of laughter. So to conclude, I personally had the most fun with the 2023 Sizzle season. It wasn't perfect, but it did a lot right. Sure, I might be slightly biased because my 2 main weapons both got new kits, but even looking past that, I really enjoyed a lot of the things this season had to offer. The maps, the emotes, a great new salmon stage, and a brand new mode with a lot of potential. Yeah, of all the 7 seasons that we covered, this is most certainly the one for me. Alright, we've done it. Those are all 7 post-launch Splatoon 3 seasons ranked. I hope you enjoyed. Here's a little graphic just so you can see all of my rankings in one place. Thank you guys so much for watching through this little mini-series. It was super fun to write. Also, a huge thanks to my editor, Kenta, for working really hard on these videos. It would not have been possible without her. If you guys enjoyed, please remember to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and also leave a comment letting us know. Feel free to share your ranking of every season, because I love to see everyone else's lists and see how it differs from mine. Oh, and quick reminder guys, I do have a Discord server. The link is in the description, so be sure to join that if you're interested in talking with me and my community. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.